Today is a special day. To be honest, every day is a special day. But today is the day that yours truly hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, and it's exciting. You know, I remember someone asking me about this. I think it was Greg who was saying, Priya, when you hit 1,000 subscribers, what are you gonna do? And I think he meant something different. You know, he meant that because he thought that you become monetized when you get 1,000, but it's to do with watch hours as well. So you have to get 3,000 watch hours. And you know, I misunderstood the question because it's something that I had been thinking about myself. So then you know, I remember saying, you know, I don't know if I'm gonna celebrate. Like it's just one of those things. You know why? It's not that I'm not happy, which I am, right? I'm excited. It's fun, but it's in life. Wait, sorry, let me just check. I always have to like do this thing where I check that the mic works. Oh, that's the wrong password. Okay. And it's kind of cold. I'm gonna put this on. Okay. I feel like I look really small because my okay. 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 Better. Right, let's check if our live. Oh, okay, someone just unsubscribed. It went to 999. Um, People do that. It's so funny. Perfect, working. Is it just slow? Okay, so it's one. Guess it's just slow. Whoops, it's still playing. Sorry, I was just hi, welcome. It's so I was you know, talking about how I hit 1K, but it's funny because I just clicked on it and then I think someone must have subscribed, which is really interesting because it happens a lot. When I look at it, you know, it'll be like a certain number and then it will decrease by one. And it always makes me think, like, do people just sit and I don't know what happens. But there was a great point that I was making because of this, you know, about how I felt about there being 1,000 subscribers. And I said I wasn't sure whether it was something that I wanted to celebrate elaborately. Because I get it, of course, you should be like, well done, Priya, which I am, of course. But also, there's this thing of, you know, when you're in bliss, nothing can take away from it and nothing can add to it because it's an infinite state already. Like, you can't. Does that make sense? So, for example, what I'm trying to say is that I'm wary of letting things outside of me dictate my happiness. So, because that's what we usually do, right? We're like, oh, okay. Sorry, let me just open the window. It's kind of warm, which is funny because I just put something on. But fresh air is always more important. Okay, so yeah. Okay, this chair doesn't slide. um, yeah, relying on things outside of you. For example, some people rely on, oh, okay, I have to achieve this. I have to meet this goal. I have to have a certain amount of money. I have to have this partner. My life has to look like this. Fill in the blank, right? Even though I haven't left a impression still. You know, it's wonderful. I know you're listening, which is great. It can't add to my bliss, but I think it makes it a difference to my health. So I'll take it. And I guess it's only if I believe it does. And I believe it does. I believe that fresh air is important. You know, it's good for your sinuses. I watched a video, okay? But if you don't believe that, then that's your truth. And that's also okay. But yeah, if I were to rely on things outside of me for my happiness, or anything for my happiness, for my safety, my security. That is something that we were exploring yesterday in my life, and something that we explored in my satsang that I had yesterday, my first one. The concept of where people place their safety outside of them. They depend on things externally, like money, relationships, routines, people, like validation, for them to feel safe. But what this is conditional safety. So if I were to sit here and get really, really, really excited, if I were to get really, really excited about 1K, then I guess what I would be doing is it's conditional happiness, right? Which is a really interesting concept, because I feel like maybe happiness is conditional, whereas things like bliss and peace and joy, they're not conditional. They're found within naturally. They're your natural state of being. But welcome, Naman. Whatever you say, I'll congratulate you guys. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. See, it's like one of those, it's like, yeah, of course, like celebrate, congratulate yourself. I'm all for celebrating your wins. Oh, hey, Thor, you changed your name. It was okay. I have to remember that. For sure. But yeah, thank you. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate everyone's support. I don't even think I ever envisioned, like, I ever even thought that I would be going live. But it's funny because, so I, on my MacBook, you have a photo booth. So when I first got my MacBook, like 10 years ago, I made a first video. So my sister had one, and hers got, but like our house got burgled. So hers was taken, and I got one. And then she was upset, and then I was making a video, and in the video she's like, I hope it gets robbed, and I was like, okay. And I was like, hello guys, welcome to my vlog, welcome to my YouTube channel. And at this point, I was addicted to, alcohol, drugs, smoking. I was, not that I'm shaming myself, I'm just naming where I was, which is okay, Priya was meant to be there. Priya was doing the best that she could with what she knew. But yeah, I was, not the best mentally, physically, emotionally, in any way. And to be here and to actually be doing it, I think she would be really, really proud of me. And I think maybe she kind of knew that this is like the path we're destined for, because I just love the idea of sharing and creating. Like, I was talking to someone, and I was highlighting the importance of creation in one's life. We are creators, we create our own reality. So why would we stop there? We have gifts, we have wisdom, we have unique talents that only we have, because we're all such unique beings that no one can be exactly like you. So you bring something new to the table. Everybody does. And there's loads of space at the top, so yeah, I think creation is something that we should be doing. Okay, I don't want to say should. Just came to congratulate you. Need to go now. See you. Thank you so much. Yeah, creation is something that means that we offer something to the world. For example, I was speaking about this, about how there were these creators, like this couple that I really like, that I watched their podcast, and I was enthralled and enchanted by them. And then I thought, oh, I really want to see more. I want to learn more from them. How can I do this? And luckily enough, I found that YouTube channel. How amazing is that, right? I'm lucky that they did that they offer themselves, that they offer their wisdom, their lives, their stories to people, to me, so that I can benefit from that. And you can do that. It's, you don't realize it yourself, but your offerings could mean a lot to somebody. Just like other people's offerings may mean a lot to you. I know certainly in my life, people's offerings mean a lot to me. There are some certain people that I love to go back and, find and learn from and just find more of their information. And I never want to take that for granted. And hey, Mr. Godly, what's up? Guess what I did today? Also, hey Satish Kumar, I created a membership because Satsang with Priya is going to become a weekly thing. It is a weekly thing now. So there's a membership that you can get onto where you will have access to all of the the Zoom calls, the weekly Zoom calls, and I'm going to offer a replay as well. So I'm gonna remember to record them so I can have them up so people can rewatch them. I'm thinking about how to offer that up. Like, do I want to post those on YouTube for people to watch? Possibly. I think what I'd want to do first is get some consent from the people participating. Um, you know, yeah, I was watching it from 970 counting every sub. That's so sweet. That is so sweet. I appreciate you. I appreciate all of your effort, all of your energy that you pour into this channel, Mr. Godly. I can't thank you enough. So thank you. What was I talking about? Lost my train of thought. I can't remember. Someone's gonna have to remind me. I feel like I've forgotten. Oh, okay, yeah, the Satsang membership. Yeah, so about getting consent from people because it's a very intimate space, and I share personal stories from my life, and I'm sure other people do too. So I don't know if they want to be on camera and they want this to be available on the internet. What I'm thinking is maybe have a small energetic exchange in money, right? To only offer it to people who are serious about watching it, and I guess only if not everybody's gonna want to buy it and pay to watch it, right? So the people that do want to, they're serious, and I feel like in their hands it's safe. Does that make sense? Unless someone's like really cunning and just wants to make some more videos of clips and be like, oh, she said this, she said this. I don't know what that's called. Is that a thing? Yeah, that's a thing, but it's not rage baiting. That's a new word that I learned. It's something else. I'm not sure. I hope my internet isn't slow. Gosh, I'm starting to get a headache. But yeah, I'm excited. It was something really interesting that someone mentioned in the satsang yesterday, and it was one of my clients who is at university, and he was discussing, university and the education system. And what really came to light was, the discussion was about, education system and how personal it gets, how it gets into, your personal life. It goes beyond what it's meant to go beyond just educating you. It gets into for example, he was saying that they look at his routines and stuff like that. And even myself, my siblings still go to school, and hearing what they have to do, hearing how school is, hearing their experience kind of surprises me. I didn't think it was so bad because it was normal for me at school and I didn't know any better. But now I think about that, and I think if I was in school right now, with the way that I am, with what I know, I just don't think I would survive. And in fact, my brother is trying his very best to just leave and get out early because it's a system that creates a collective consciousness of itself. Because that's what I realized. It's its own collective consciousness. It's its own reality. The way that they stress you, they make you feel like you're gonna die if you don't pass your exams. They make you feel like if you don't go to university or get a degree or get a job, you're gonna die. it's going to be the end of the world. It's really disrupting to your nervous system. And it kind of makes you wonder, was it meant to be like this? And I guess it was. It was designed to be a particular way, right? But I'm not gonna- oh, thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you. Your $1 million smile. I'll take it. It's like I feel like I've become really sensitive to my body, and I can kind of sense when like a headache is coming on. Uh, yeah, I think it happens when the more you kind of like tune into yourself. But I'll try to continue for as long as I feel comfortable doing. Ah, But yeah, and then I realized that, okay, this is, school, the education system is something that most of us have been through. Only a rare amount of people don't have to go through that or get homeschooled, right? And they're the people who haven't been trained or indoctrinated into that reality, into that collective consciousness, where, of course, I mean, it's a whole like treadmill almost. If you think about it, you're on a treadmill and you're told, okay, this is the destination and this is the only treadmill you can get on. The treadmill only goes one way, and it's our way. It's not your way. You have to listen to our way, you know. Um, Finally 1K. I think it went down to like 999. But it's okay. Whatever. It's always kind of fluctuating. It's a number, right? At the end of the day, as long as I'm able to help someone, even if that's one person, that makes me happy. And also, I love to share, so it's like selfish completely. you know, I mean, in another way, yeah. Also because, uh, when I help you, like if I sit here and I offer support and wisdom and help and whatever it is to people, I'm helping myself. In the Bible where it says, love thy neighbor as you love yourself, that is because you are thy neighbor. So when you help people, when you spread goodness around the world, you're planting positive seeds. You know, you have subbed the last year, great. Mr. Godly's gonna love you for that one. I feel like I don't know what's happening today. I lose my point at times. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's the one. Okay, thank you. Just reminded me. So yeah, when you help people, you're serving God, because everything is God, right? God is outside of you and God is within you. Like they say in the Bible, the kingdom of heaven is within you. God is within you. In Sikhism, they say that you have a light within you. Everybody is, take a deep breath. Okay. Hmm. I think I really needed that. I don't know what it is. I keep straining my forehead. Ah. Okay, I have to stop repeating things like that. Um, maybe I call Greg. He will get you in a straight path. What do you mean? What's Greg gonna do? Take this headache away? It's Monday. I think he must be at work. He mentioned how he was going back to work. Mr. Godly, are you joining us, by the way? Are you joining us this Sunday? You have to. You have to join for at least one, okay? It has to be done. I don't know if you were in the live when I was mentioning this, but I created a membership. It was interesting. someone asked me like, why do I on TikTok, like, why do I have to pay £11 to join? And it was interesting because at first I think things came up for me like, oh my god, should I not be charging? Is it not worth any value? Am I overcharging or anything like that? But I don't think so. I think everything is an energetic exchange, right? The only someone who doesn't have a business of their own would think like that, I think. Um what do you do? Yeah. Uh or one of the Bible quoted, whatever you do to at least of men, you do unto me, something like that. Wow. Yeah, I mean, that's it, right? The thing is, like I always say, most religions are teaching you that there is only oneness, that God is within you and outside of you. Even science, like for example, um, you know what, like Carl Jung, I think, yeah, Carl Jung was really onto things. And apparently there's a lot of information that wasn't revealed. Like he chose not to reveal a lot of his um spiritual beliefs because he already felt that he was being judged. So he kept a lot of them away, but apparently they've released them now, which would be really interesting to kind of take a look at and see what he had to say, because he was definitely onto something. Freud, I don't know. I'm not too, I don't know. Freud, maybe not. But Jung, Carl Jung was definitely onto something, you know? But yeah, most religions at their core, like if you have to decipher the message, you know? It's very symbolic, it's very deep, um it requires you to contemplate. So contemplation, what's the difference between thinking and contemplation? Contemplation is swimming. You're moving, you know, swimming from one end to the other. Contemplation is diving deep. You're staying in one place, but you're diving really deep. How often do we contemplate? I think we're all very just used to swimming, you know, just thinking about things, which means you stay on the surface of them. You don't really dive deep to see everything, to uncover everything, because there's always depth to things. And like, I mean, even when I was writing, you know, the thing for the satsang, like, okay, this is what the satsang is, like the description for people to see, you know, I was stating how I want to go into depth about things. And I think other people want to too. I don't think people want to continue living a shallow existence. Like, for example, when I talk to people sometimes about my beliefs, and I can't separate, like, those things cannot be separated from me, you know, like the things I talk about here, that is just, I guess, who this identity is to some extent. So these are the things I like to engage in. So it's interesting when I talk to people, and you know, I find what they most often say is that I don't think I've had a conversation like this in this much depth. And we haven't even hit any depth. We've hit like a little bit of depth, in my opinion, anyway. But even in the on the grand scheme of things, I barely hit any depth. This is nothing compared to what actually exists. You know, I was reading Osho's book today, and he said, you know, the reason why the smartest people know that they don't know anything is because they understand that they know like one grain of sand of knowledge. Like for example, Isaac Newton, you know, there's a quote where he said, you all think I'm so intelligent, but I only know one grain of sand. And that, you know, all the other grains of sand on the shore represent my ignorance. Because he recognized that he doesn't know that much. You know, there's always so much more to learn. So, you know, Osho was saying that we should focus on things that we don't know rather than only on the things that we know, because how much more master of masters, exactly. Osho was wise beyond, well, I was gonna say beyond his time, but wise, I don't even know. I can't encapsulate Osho in a word or a few words. Infallible, I guess, would be a wonderful word. But yes, he said that, you know, the ego loves to overstate, the mind loves to over exaggerate. If we learn one thing, we love to you know, talk about it and go into so much depth that we color it so much that it only is left with the color. The thing itself, the essence of it disappears because we've just colored it so much with our own ideas and our own creativity and our own imagination that the thing spoken about disappears. So, I think that's one of the reasons why people feel depressed at times. Because when I was feeling depressed, I wasn't learning. I wasn't growing. I wasn't putting anything into myself. I wasn't stimulating my mind to think in more unlimited ways, to expand it, because everybody has been, when I was speaking about the collective consciousness, right? In schools. The collective consciousness at school teaches you to think in a very limited way, okay? So school teaches you that this is the boundary of life. This is what's possible. You can't step out. You're at school, then you go to university, you get a degree, you get a job, and then you die. You get pension and you die, But life, I don't even want to draw a boundary. Life is just unlimited. So when you educate yourself, first of all, that's one of those things, because yesterday on the live, Weber he mentioned that, meditation has its place and wisdom has its place, and they can't replace each other. So of course, there is so much wisdom that you can gain and intelligence that you can gain from meditation, from oneness. But there's also wisdom, and that has a place, right? Gyan, Vidya. There's a place for that. So, it's unlimited. So when you kind of get rid of this collective consciousness, so yeah, I can, okay, I can never understand the collective consciousness. It sounds like a theory, but not within my experience. Okay, I mean, CJ, if it's not within your experience, it's not within your experience, right? Maybe that's I don't know, do I want to say that? Okay, if that's your belief that it doesn't exist, then it doesn't exist as per your reality. And it's a fair point, to be honest. But look, think about it this way. When I speak about collective consciousness, what I'm speaking about is, let's say that, okay, in England, we all have niceties, right? We have politeness. Sometimes we lie because we don't want to tell the truth, because that may seem rude and disrespectful, and we want to be politically correct. So we are always putting ourselves here, right? Like in this space. In other countries, for example, in India, they will, okay, obviously there are certain things they won't talk about, maybe, but other than that, if someone thinks you're fat, they'll tell you straight up, you're fat, you need to have kids, you need to do this. They're very, very honest. I guess their boundary for what they can say is bigger because they don't try to be politically correct like they do in England. I would say thank you to the shopkeepers, like thank you, or like thank you to someone giving me something, and they would say, you're being really weird, why are you saying thank you so much? Because it's not normal for them to say that. Does that make sense? So that's their collective consciousness, that's their reality. No one says that because it's not a thing there, whereas in England it's a thing, so that becomes their collective consciousness. But I get what you're saying, because ultimately when we really look at life and how reality is created, your beliefs create boundaries. So I guess, CJ, you haven't created that boundary. You're unlimited. You're, I guess, unaffected by the collective consciousness. The collective consciousness, when I speak about that, it is a theory. And what they say is, the theory is that the collective consciousness represents the morphic field, right? The morphic field in which information is transferred. For example, thoughts. So if you look at birds, birds fly in sync, right? How do they do that? Do they communicate with each other? Do they tell each other, okay, look, I'm gonna go this way now, I'm gonna go this way now? No, it's the morphic field, the field of information that anybody can access. That the information is in that morphic field, and all of the birds have access to it. That's why they can travel in unison, in sync with each other. And in fact, I believe Tesla kind of touched on this as well, because the reason Tesla had all the information that he did, right? All the he touched on different subjects that were way beyond his time, was because he accessed the morphic field. Michael Jackson woke up at 3 a.m. He called his like music director, and he said, look, I've got an idea for a song, Thriller, right? And he said, we need to go to the studio now and we need to record it. And then his music director said, what right now, why right now? Can't we wait till the morning? And he said, no, if we wait till the morning, Prince will already have it. Why would Prince already have something that Michael had? Because Michael accessed the morphic field. He didn't create it, he channeled it. We channel our creativity. We don't really create anything, because what is life? Life is just energy, and the energy is flowing through our vessel. We're just empty vessels with energy flowing through them. So we're receiving things, we're receiving downloads, we receive information, we receive ideas, we receive thoughts. You know? I think if we exclude our bodies, we could be some kind of energy which radiates and can overlap and resonate, perhaps even like energy flows, but not collective as an entire world. Okay, interesting. And why do you think that is? Like, tell me more about that. If you have superhuman abilities, what will you do? Demonstrate, hide it, or transcend it, or build something with that? I reckon use it for greater good, but not depend on it. For example, this is a real issue with people. You know? Siddhis. Siddhis are superhuman abilities that you can... what Weber was saying, right? He was saying that you can activate those when you focus on your third eye. So here, when you focus on your third eye, when you do meditations with that for a long enough period, you can activate your siddhis, which are supernatural abilities. So people have those. People have supernatural abilities. You may find it weird, or you may not, because you're familiar with it. You know, I mean, in the East, these are just normal things that people know about. In the West, maybe not so much, because I hadn't heard of them in the West. So what they say is, on the spiritual path, you will have siddhis. They will come to you and say, please, look, we'll do anything for you. You know, but the point is to transcend them, to be one with God. Because why do you want some... The superpowers may seem cool, but to choose that or go ahead and become one with God, one with everything that is, you know, that's the height of things. So yeah, I'd probably say transcend them, because then you become a fully self-realized individual. What about you? What would you do? And that's a really interesting question. I want to know why, like, what prompted you to ask that? My chai is cold. I made some tea, so I like to have tea with... I put cumin seeds, turmeric, black pepper, ajwain, which I don't know how to say in English, and sauf. So things you put in Indian tea. Oh, and I forgot to put ginger in. Usually I put things like ginger in as well, because it's really healthy for you. But yeah, superhuman abilities. I wonder if you're familiar with them. Like, do you believe that they're normal, or do you believe that they're rare? See, everything comes down to expanding your mind. For example, new experiences are a literal orgasm to your brain. You know? Is what happens when you have a new experience. That is why people who repeat the same day over and over again and they don't learn something new, they don't do something new, they don't have new thoughts, they just have the same old repetitive thoughts, they have the same old conversations, they can't grow. I think their brain, something happens with their brain where it kind of like stops maybe. But when you have a new experience, you create new neural pathways, and it's like, wow, whoa, whoa, whoa. And that's, I believe, if I had to like visually describe what a spiritual awakening feels like, it's like there's no such thing as mind or body. That's true. CJ, you're making good points. When you are in blue, you don't know blue. Wow, love that. If they cast prayer for Wonder Woman. Ah, that's funny. Hi from Sastikal G. Oh, it's my first time on your live. I commented on your short video today. Oh, okay. Oh, hi, Karen. Welcome. Thank you for joining the live. How are you doing? What's happening? We were just discussing loads of different things. Siddhis, supernatural abilities. I don't know if you're familiar with them. You may be. Do they? I want to know. Do they actually have this in the West? I really had never heard of it before until I feel like the moment that I started learning more about spirituality in the East, it just changed my whole entire life. That's the thing that brought so much change to my life, like my habits, my thought process, the way I see the world. I guess it was just meant to be like on the path. Namaste Priyaji, Namaste Ji. It was Osho that made me understand that there is no mind. I get that. I get that. If you think about it, there's nothing. Nothing exists. You know? If you really wanna like go deep with it, you know? I'm pretty well, just had my dinner and doing a walk on my roof, stars out and sky. Oh, I love that. That's so beautiful. I love being out in the night sky. I always see shooting stars, and it always feels really magical. They just look insane. But usually what I try to do is really hope that I see aliens. I really want to see aliens. I don't know what you guys like, what your opinion is on aliens. I mean, we all have very open minds here. I'm sure you all understand that of course they exist. He simply said there is no such thing as a crowd. It's just a collection of people. Likewise, there is no such thing as a mind. It's just a collection of thoughts. Why? Wow. Wow. Okay. You know what I want to do? I want to go deeper into that. So you said that there is there is no such thing as a crowd. It's just a collection of people. That's very true. And then if we go deeper into that, there are no other people other than you. It's just you, right? It's you imagining them. Like, for example, it's, we have society within us, within our imagination, because your imagination is reality, right? There is no outer reality. There is only what is within you, within your being, within your consciousness. So when we imagine a crowd or like a country, for example, they don't exist until you observe them, and they only exist, like, for example, when in Punjabi or like stuff like that, they say log kya kahenge, what will people say, what will people think, oh my god, I can't do this, what will this my mom say, my dad say, my boyfriend say, my husband say, my wife say, my friend say. You judge yourself. You're like, oh no, I shouldn't be doing that, and then you put the label of, oh, it's your friend, because your friend didn't say that. Your friend doesn't exist. You decide what your friend thinks, because you're the one that has free will. You're obsessed with aliens? I think so. Yeah. You know why? Because I've watched alien channeling. So these are people who can channel aliens, which is the thing, I know. Don't knock it until you don't knock it. like I said, we don't know everything, right? For us to assume that we know loads is silly, or anything at all, because we don't know anything at all. If Isaac Newton can say that he didn't know much, that he only knew a grain of sand compared to, you know, and the rest of the sands, grains of sand on the shore were his represented his ignorance, then I can assure you that we don't know anything. You know, so anything is possible. So yeah, alien channeling. You know why I love it? Because they had this really calm energy, okay? And they just had a way of speaking about life that was completely different to anything I've ever heard. I've never heard words like that come out of a human being. And maybe, you know, if you don't like the messenger, just listen to the message. What's the message saying? Does the message resonate with you? Sometimes people that we don't like very much, or, you know, whatever, they can say something that's super profound, right? Oh, Avatar movie, Ash and Fire. Oh, okay. Oh, there's a new Avatar movie, isn't there? Do you listen to Sadhguru Jaggi Vasudev? Is that his full name? Oh, Jaggi. No, I don't. Let me write that down. I don't know. I do not. Okay. So I need to watch Pluribus. Okay, why? Can you tell me more about it, please? I like Undone. Watch Undone. That's a really good show. Okay, what's Sadhguru Jaggi Vasudev. And why do you mention him? What about him? What do you like about him? What can you teach me? I'm currently in England. Yeah, I live in England. I'm Indian, of course. But I live in England. But yeah, I love thanks, Mr. Godley. Paris from England! Ah! Thank you for that. But yeah, the aliens, they were just wild. You know, there's a platform, just since you mentioned aliens, it's a really unique and entertaining series. Okay, oh my god. Is it, like, I'm guessing it has aliens and you get to see life from their perspective. Is that true? Because I love shows like that. I remember watching this movie called Planet 51 when I was younger, and it really inspired me and it made me change. I think it really touched me, you know? Because the human being was the alien on an alien planet. So everything that the human being did, they questioned, and it wasn't normal to them. And I love that. And I think that's something that I always held on to, that, you know, that idea of questioning human things, human activities, human behaviors, and not just accepting them as normal. Seems like you are a studious student as you are taking notes. Hey, of course, we're all students of life, right? In India, there was a movie, Koi Mil Gaya, Hrithik Roshan, when I was a kid. I love that movie. Oh my god. Yes. Love it. And did you see, you know, I think it was such a wonderful representation of aliens, because a lot of times you see depictions of aliens as very violent, aggressive, you know, and like low consciousness, I guess, vengeful. And I'm not saying that all aliens are good, you know, I'm sure there are some that are like that, but it's good to depict every kind of alien, right? Some are very loving and, you know, benign and helpful and powerful and wise. And I think it's good that they had that, but it was such a wonderful movie. I just loved when he had the glow up and he's like a man. Yeah, it was good. I had like a major I don't have a major crush on Hrithik Roshan, but I did. Yeah. Guilty. Okay, never mind. No aliens in it, but it starts and is based on a transmission from outer space. You will love the series. I will watch it. I really, really appreciate you telling me that, sharing that with me. Thank you. Interstellar, they don't show alien. Was there an alien? You know, Mr. Godley, I actually haven't watched all of it. Interstellar. I watched the beginning and I just didn't finish. Should I? Yep, Jadoo was too good in sunlight but not in darkness. Do you remember basketball match in that movie? Yeah, I do. It was so good. And then Hype Oven. And then it's like they would cover his head, right? You know, it just makes sense. I mean, not only is sunlight great for Jadoo, but us as human beings, we need direct sunlight. That's where we get our energy from. But what do they tell you? They tell you that the sun is dangerous. It makes me laugh. The sun is dangerous, apparently, you know? That's why we would... Everybody would die out if we didn't have the sun. But yeah, the sun is... It activates, like, certain hormones within you. It helps with everything, especially early in the morning to get sunlight. Game changer. Changes your health. Alien nahi hote. I travel, astral travel, but there are creatures that we can call aliens, like seeing elephant for the first time in trunk. Anyone can call him alien. Oh, really? I guess maybe in your reality they don't exist, but I believe they exist, so they exist for me. You haven't watched a movie about space and you're obsessed with aliens. Mr. Godley, you just said that there are no aliens. Wait, they didn't show an alien, so why would I watch a show where they don't even show aliens? Please. Ta-da! To figure out, okay, so it's to figure out wormholes and interstellar travel. Oh, okay, that's in Pluribus, yes? In Interstellar, dark hole is mentioned and demonstrated by Christopher Nolan as universe secrets are in it. Okay, so I should watch it then. Okay. I will dedicate time to watch that. I'm sure I will at some point. I think black holes are fascinating. But, I mean, what do you guys think of them? From what I know of them, they're very, very dense and you can time travel through them, right? And I guess that's what happened in the movie. Correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, you know, time travel exists and it's real because time doesn't exist. So it's just travel, right? Because everything just exists here and now. I mean, think about it. Like the fact that, you know, we have to introduce the concept of light years, you know, and light years are... because the number would be so far because space is so infinite, right? Similarly, like when you wake your Kundalini Shakti inside, you generate your own light. Wow. Have you done that, Karan? Have you... You know, I heard that it kind of just happens naturally over time. It depends. It's different for everybody, right? Like someone, like your guru could lick your face. And then, you get a Kundalini awakening or, yeah, I guess mantras, breath work. I like how you lit up your light. Thank you. It's, yeah, the lights, the LED lights. That's how my journey started. It went from fascination with the deepest edge of the universe and turned it inwards to the finest atom of who we are. Wow. Loved that. That is wild. And the universe is just within you, right? I'd love to know, like, what you learned. Like, what are the lessons, some of the lessons that you gleaned from, you know, this inner journey? And how long ago did you do it before? Like, how long has it been? Okay, Karan, you're still in the darkness. Okay, I'm sure. All in good time, right? All in divine timing, I guess. If there is ever a time, it is now. I mean, to be honest, you could just say that's already happened and then just, like, get onto a reality where that's the case. and find that the laws of the grand universe also apply to who we are. Yeah, for sure. Are you talking about laws such as the law of polarity, the law of gender, the law of vibration, etc., etc.? Like those universal laws? I think they speak about them in the Hermetic principles, right? Cats are meowing. They're just so cute. They're just so, I don't want to say human, but just beings, which is always interesting. Since I was 6 and raised a Catholic and thought this is all nonsense. Oh wow, jeez. Okay, and how old are you now? There's Divya Jyoti where oh wow, okay. Divya Jyoti, I'm gonna write that down. In Punjab as well, love that. Divya Jyoti Jagar. Are you gonna go there? Sunstan in Nur Mahal, Punjab. Job. There must be central to. Oh, I don't know. Is yeah. Should I go? Should I go to somewhere? I guess it is what I think it is, right? Because I was thinking, is that like a thing? Like, should I like? Is that a good thing to go to a center and like get help to open your third eye? Or is it something that I should just let happen naturally? Or, I mean, I don't know. But it's interesting that you mentioned it. It's interesting. Open third eye. I'll have to search open third eye centers in England. Maybe if I open mine, I can help people open theirs. Who knows? Seeing and hearing you makes my day infinitely better, Priya. I'm so happy you're alive. That's so sweet. Thank you so much, Daryl. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. My ex was in that institution. Okay. Okay. Is that like a... I feel like there's more. Is that more coming to that sentence? Did it work for her? Did she enjoy it? Let me know. Let me know. Also, for her third eye was open, so did chakras. Okay, wow. So there was no like weird stuff happening, or because these things, I don't know, I guess I've watched videos where they talk about, you know, Kundalini awakening and stuff, and like the things that could happen, the dangers of it, you know, you really need to be with someone who's trained. I guess they obviously do have people that are like trained, for example, like giving someone the answer to a question. Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, for sure. I don't know if it's you know, I was just playing with the idea, but I don't know if I could do that. Because the thing is, like I said, you don't know what you're doing. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not a guru, right? It's something that you would have to go to someone who really knows their shit. You know? I don't know. I you can just let things happen naturally, you know, and I'm sure they will, rather than like forcing them. But it's also like on the flip side of that, if something like, for example, you know, Karan just mentioned this, it's like this is the flow of life. Someone mentioned it. Oh, okay. It kind of like, you know, I'm curious about it. Maybe I will go down that road and like find something out about it. Maybe that is the journey for me, you know. It's I like to let my curiosity lead me where it may, but then also I'm going to use my discernment. Because yeah, of course, you know, they say that I don't know, it's different. People have different experiences, so I think your belief it's about your beliefs. Actually, Priya is my first time interacting with you, but it seems like I've known you for years. I love that. That's wild. You know, I've had a few people say that to me actually. I it's we're one, first of all, right? You are just a reflection of me. Second of all, soul families, right? Like souls that you've met in different lifetimes. Like the fact that you found me, my YouTube channel, out of billions, I guess, YouTube channels that you could have found, there are no coincidences. So we probably have met in a past life. What do I want most in life? I love that question, CJ. I want you to answer it too, okay? So I would say, what do I want the most in life? I want to be non-existent. I want to be so immersed in this ocean of divinity, like so absorbed in it, that I lose the sense of self. Like there is no prayer. There is just beingness, you know? And all the qualities, obviously, I guess, that come with that. That's what I'd want. Because that's being at home with God. And that's the best thing that we could ever, I believe, could aspire to have. What do you want, CJ? What's the most thing you want in the thing you want most in life? Priya is so authentic and her honesty connects us. Thank you. You know, takes one to know one, right? Takes one to know one. Do I believe in past life? I do. I do believe in past life. Yeah, I believe in everything. I believe everything is possible. Impossible is just I'm possible, you know? And that's no coincidence either. So yeah, I believe in past life. I believe that because this is just a bodysuit, okay? You know, I was watching something, I like to watch Premanand Maharaj Ji. I don't know if you guys have heard of him. Premanand Maharaj Ji. He's a very enlightened being. And you can see it. You could see it in the authenticity, in the honesty, in the love, his shraddha, right? That he emanates, like his energy that he emanates. And he mentioned something today. He mentioned how, you know, I mean, I guess this kind of comes into karma as well, right? He mentioned how, you know, when they say 84 lakh juna, so they say that 84 million lives that you, juna as in like different lives, that you have to go, like people go through sometimes because they don't reach that level of enlightenment, I guess, of awareness. And someone said to him, okay, why does that happen? And he said, okay, if there's a murderer, like let's say, there is someone, person X, who's a murderer, right? And they're wearing, I don't know, a suit. If we change their clothes and we put something else on, we put, I don't know, pajamas on him, her, they're still a murderer, right? They're still gonna get done for that crime. So, I mean, you know, like the yeah, so he was saying that despite you changing Jones, it's because you still remain the same. So with past lives and lives now, it's if we don't change, like something inside us doesn't change, and just this avatar outside of us changes, then you'll continue going through this cycle, which was really interesting. He just has such a wonderful way of like different analogies that are so easy to understand, which I love. What are my thoughts on karma? I believe that karma is a seed. Whatever seed you plant is the fruit that you sow, right? The fruit that you reap. You sow what you reap. That's it. So what are you doing? Because that is planting the seed of your future, I guess, you know? That exists right now. I don't know, maybe just peace to understand the truth. Okay. Well, love that. Thank you for sharing, CJ. You said you would love to be so immersed with your whole sense of self that your whole sense of self evaporates, but we were never a self. We're not nodes in a network. I think it's a great lie. We've accepted that we were individual. Wow. Individual branches on a tree, maybe. Yeah. So maybe I didn't explain it properly. Wow. Yeah. I guess there was never a self, there was just an illusion of a self. It's kind of, so I guess it's, what I'm trying to say is it's almost like waves, right? Priya is a wave in an infinite ocean, and I just want to become, I already am one with that ocean, but to remember that in every living moment that I am one with the ocean. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. But how these both astronauts were able to communicate each other inside the black, but I just realized the only way is through gravitational wave. Okay, this is a quantum physicist, by the way. We're so lucky to have you here, as we are to have everybody here. Okay, what's a gravitational wave? You're gonna have to teach me. I don't know. Teach us, teach us, teach us. Whee! See, this is why I like the whole idea of satsang is wonderful. And I also decided, right? So I made the satsang weekly, as you guys already know. So I've created a membership that you can access, and I've put the link in my bio on YouTube, and I'll create a post as well for that. So on there, I had this idea where I don't just want to be the one coming teaching people, right? Because, for example, I spoke about safety and stability yesterday, but I'm not the only one that has so much wisdom. Of course, duh, you know, everybody else does too. Like, you know, like Daryl, like everybody, Karan, you know, AJ, he's a quantum physicist. Everybody on here has so much wisdom, so many nuggets of wisdom, right? That they can bring and they can share. So you could have like 20 minutes where you come and share and teach us something, and then we all have a discourse about it. You know, we all have a conversation and ask you questions. So it's I provide the container, but I don't want to limit it to just me. Does that make sense? So I would love to have, if anybody has any ideas, you know, you can contact me and say, okay, Priya, on this week's satsang, I want to talk about this. Please, may I have the stage? Yes, of course. Because I love teaching, but I love learning just as much. And like I said, there's so much to be learned, right? We should always explore that which we don't know. And when I speak about things I know. So I'm not, I mean, of course, sometimes things come out of me, which I'm like, whoa, I've never really thought about that before consciously. Of course, we have that, you know, I have that. But I'm not really learning when I'm like talking. But I am actually when you guys are talking. But does that make sense? How you connect with God, Priya? I connect with myself in stillness. Stillness, going inwards, meditation, and being aware, being present. I think the present moment is a bridge to God. You know? What about you? And you're welcome, Daryl. The thing is, I don't and refuse to believe in anything. I love that. It's only from experience that I came to an understanding and realized that a lot of what is being said by some people is true. Okay. The thing is, I don't review. It's only from experience that I came to an understanding that I realized a lot of people. What? Okay, it's true. Okay. You know, I get that. It's interesting because it's kind of like you said you refuse to believe in anything, but then you eventually realize that what, so you do believe people. Yes, thank you, Gold Dad, cooking up deliciousness, for your support. Welcome. How you see street lights on evening walks, as in like, what do I think of them? I'm not a fan at all of them. I prefer the darkness. I want to be able to see the night sky, you know. I don't want artificial light. But we live in a society where we kind of have to have that, I guess. Priya, I imagine sometimes that the original consciousness in the universe, which, let me bring you guys closer. I'm just like leaning and I want to keep my posture straight, you know. Make you a little bit higher. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Boom. Perfect. Priya, I imagine sometimes that the original consciousness in the universe, which we call God, was so lonely that he had to essentially forget where they came from so they could experience the universe. Wow. As infinite being, we are tiny fractions of the pure consciousness that connects all. Yep. I completely agree. You know, I think it's maybe it's the human experience where we forget. I think it's the ego. So this is what I heard. So your soul remembers, obviously, right? Your soul already knows what the truth is and where you came from and who you are, your wholeness. But it's the ego that is created to give us a sense of separateness that can't wrap its head around it. So to explain to the ego slash mind, I guess you could say, which I know don't exist, but there's an illusion of it that exists because nothing exists, but everything exists. Does that make sense? So yeah, to that, the truth feels explosive. The truth just feels crazy. That's why I think it's difficult for people to wrap their head around. Like Osho said, you know, you can't find God in the mind. You can't think about God. You have to experience God because God is beyond the mind. Do I teach classes? Well, yes, I do now. I've officially said that I'm going to start teaching classes. I think maybe I will. I have, Charles, so I've started a membership called Satsang with Priya. This is where on every Sunday you get to come and you get to I teach for a bit, you know, on a theme that I've chosen or people have recommended, and then we all talk. It's not really a class because I'm not really the main teacher because I like to learn from everybody. But if there is a want for me to teach specific classes, I'm more than happy to do that because I love to teach. And I guess, but you know, uh these lives are kind of like that. But let me know what you'd like. Oh, you have that copper garvi with you. You are so traditional Sanatani culture. Thank you. Yeah, I got it from India. I heard that copper is really good to drink out of. In fact, you should only drink out of copper. Amazing. The ego is the device which God may have used to divide his own personality into infinite creatures. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, drinking on copper is good for stomach digestion. Exactly. Space-time is like a stretchy fabric. When heavy objects move or crash, they shake it and send out tiny ripples called gravitational waves. That's so cool. Imagine the whole universe is just God's mind arguing with his own self, trying to prove a point he never made to someone who wasn't there to listen. Oh my god. You know, Daryl, what I always say, like me and my sister always laugh about, we really should be so much more loving and gentle with each other. Exactly. And you know, if we tie in what AJ just said, right, about when heavy objects move or crash, they shake it and send out tiny ripples called gravitational waves. So if we think about words carry vibration, right? So AJ, correct me if I'm wrong, but you could kind of liken that, like a word, to kind of an object maybe a little bit, because it's something that is a frequency that is moving through space, right? Because we feel people's words, right? We feel it within our bodies. So, okay, maybe we can come a little bit lower. Okay. We feel it through our bodies. So they cause gravitational waves, which, like I said, maybe those are the waves that impact us. So, like Daryl said, we should all be very, much more loving and gentle with each other. Well, yeah, because those waves hit that person and they come right back at you. Kind of, And also, one of the things that with my sister that we always talk about is like, me and my twin sister, we went for a walk, and I was like, oh, I was like, I love you. And I just said I love you, but I'm technically just saying it to myself. I was like, you're wonderful. And she's like, yeah. You're saying it to yourself, but yeah, thank you. So everything we say to anybody else, we're saying to ourselves. It makes sense. Do I know you, Priya? It I don't know. I guess you can tell me that. I don't know. In what sense are you asking this question, Karan? Okay, cool. Okay, no worries, Charles. Like I said, let me know if that's something that you would like. Priya, I'm trying to attack reality from the perspective that things only matter between two observers if they decide to. Love that. Meaning cannot exist if there's only one observer. Very true. Truth is not 1 + 1 = 2. Truth is that which sustains meaning. Wow. You know, this reminds me of something that if we agree 1 + 1 = 2, then it's meaningful. Okay. Okay, so meaning cannot. You're trying to attack reality from the perspective that things only matter between two observers if they decide to. But isn't there only one observer? And there is really, you know, just to be the devil's advocate, there is only observation, right? Because there is no sense of self. If we agree, it's if we agree it's something else, then that also holds meaning. That's very true. That is very true. I guess what you're trying to say, correct me if that's not, it's like, for example, earlier I was saying, if you believe it in your life, for example, I believe that aliens exist, right? If you believe that they don't exist, then that's your truth. I can't argue with that. That is your reality that you see. Is that what you're kind of, am I on the right path here? Yes, I think there is only one observer. I appreciate you taking time to actually think about these things. I love thinking about these things. It lights me up. It's just the most profound thing, you know? I don't know you. I don't know. You are on my mobile screen. I'm just so comfortable. I love that. Uh, Me too. Me too. Um, and that observer had to divide itself the same way that we can feel conflicted when we are thinking about something. Okay, yeah, I get that completely. It's you are God disguised as a human being, right? That kind of thing. With all that we know about the universe, how can anyone doubt that aliens exist? Exactly. I don't know. I guess some people are out there who really, really believe that. For example, you know, someone was telling me, right, that the experiment that was done by the Japanese doctor, I believe, on water, about how what we say to water and how that affects its vibration and ultimately the shape that it forms, like the snowflakes form. So apparently scientists tried this out, but they believed that it wouldn't work, so it didn't work for them. It didn't show up in their reality. That kind of thing. No, I'm not saying truth is subjective, but I see you're drawing a comparison, but I'm saying whether 1 on 1 = 2 or not, if we don't agree on it, it's useless. Okay. Truth is that which sustains meaning. Okay, I've written a short book on this. I'd love to read it for you sometime. I would love that. I love that you've written a book. That's amazing. I get what you're trying to say. So there's something that I always say, you know, about the truth. The truth is that which is permanent. The truth is that which is unchanging. How would you bring that? Like, I guess I need to like. Is that like way too bright? I don't know where to put that. Because okay. Oh my god, no, it's forming a really weird shadow. I feel like I look like a scary villain. Just need my kitties in my hands. Does that look okay? It's fine. It looks fine, right? We'll go with it. It's actually really bright. We'll leave it. We're good. Do I have to turn the light on? Just let me know at any point you feel like. That's okay. That's kind of better. There we go. Wait. You don't know if the Japanese thing is true. It may not be true. Oh, you don't know if the experiment was true. Interesting. What is the role of the spine and chakras? I have no idea. I could not tell you. I don't speak on things I don't know about. Okay, I mean, I think sometimes I do, but I really am trying my best. Osho said, do not. I don't want to mislead anybody. I have no idea what that means. But there must be a diffuser in the light. So, okay, there we go. You're smart. I think now my eyes are being weird because I just looked at it for too long. My unconditional love to you, beautiful soul. The truth is this present moment. Hey, Igor, welcome. My unconditional love to you. And hi, VinX01_edits. Wow, again, light, but there must be... Okay, yeah, so we've handled the light. There is one observer with multiple opinions. Yeah, literally, oh my god. So, you know, let me take it further, okay? There was a video that I posted on my Instagram and my TikTok about showing off and how I would become... you know, I became aware of the fact that me trying to show off to people is just me showing off to myself, and that doesn't make any sense. And someone was talking about, you know, but we need to show off, like we need people's validation. And I remember thinking, but you're just doing it to yourself, right? Like, yeah, we argue with ourselves, we're rude to ourselves. That is why, you know, people who mistreat themselves, you can see that they do that because they do that to other people. So if someone is mistreating you or they talk to you rudely, best believe they do that to themselves. That's why they think it's okay to do that to you. And give me a moment. I have to take I'll be back. Give me a minute. I'm back. Okay. No one wins an argument. Yeah, Priya, you speak of showing off. Think of the box that the analogy showing off puts you in. Do you think you're doing it for these reasons, and also don't let the parasite we call language box you in? Oh, okay. Sorry. There's a hair in my mouth. Okay, let me read that again. Priya, you speak of showing off. Think of the box that the analogy of showing off puts you in. Okay? Do you think you're doing it for these reasons? Oh, okay, like to get validation from people? No, so don't let the parasite we call language box you in. That's why people are so manipulated through language. I mean, that is true. Language is very limiting and confusing, you know? Silence is so much better. Well, I don't want to compare. You have to frame everything. Okay, to be clear, I know you're not doing for these reasons mainly. As in, like, yeah, I mean, I wasn't... I don't know if you're... if you think that I mentioned showing off in terms of my lives. It wasn't really related to that. I think in a... But let me know if that's what the what you drew from that. But I meant in general, you know? Because I'm not gonna lie, at times, like, thoughts do come on, like, oh, should I like wear this or like do this or do that and act like this? You know, you notice it within yourself that you're trying to show off or something because it's the ego, right? I mean, should I even label it as that? Um, um, but yeah, I like your thinking. I like the fact that I like having an outsider, like, you know, look in and be like, okay, it's kind of like I have a therapist right now, which I love. Okay, this light, right? Okay, boom. Priya, tell me my age is 33 and I'm still single. What could be the reason according to you? I don't know. Divine timing. Everything happens at the right time. That's all I can say. I am not a fortune teller by any means. You know? But yeah, everything happened as it's meant to happen. That's all I have. It'll happen when it's meant to happen. What do you think it is? Forget about it. Okay. I'd rather not. And they're not debates. It's a discourse. And it's kind of interesting. Muy interesante. I think I just mixed French and Spanish, but I'm cute, so it's fine. Oh yeah, that's funny. Nom, nom. You know, the whole like language thing Daryl is talking about. When I was learning about different enlightened beings, like one of them being Ananda Mai, right? Ananda Mai Ma. They said that she just sits silently and everybody sits with her. Silently, you know, they don't really speak. I mean, of course, sometimes she would teach, but mostly they would sit in silence, and I didn't get it. But now I get it. Because language, like, it's something Weber said, you know, when you see from the observer, when you become one, well, we are one, right? But when the ego and the mind quietens and you become aware and you identify as the one, there are no questions and there are no answers. You know, everything is known in the silence. Priya, there are so many things I'd love to ask you, but I would be here forever as I love your company so much, so I'd like to take a step back and try to develop the points you're making. Okay. I think it's the lines on my palms. I feel selfish for always asking you these questions, but I'd love to have time to ask them. Okay. Like what kind of questions, Daryl? It's the lines on my palms. Interesting. I mean, it is if you believe it is, right? What are the lines on your palm saying? When you go near the black hole, the past event horizon, in theory, you could time travel into the future because even time slows down. Okay. So AJ, I want to ask you, what do you think of time? Because time and matter are not absolute, right? Consciousness is fundamental. So time and matter come after that. So it's consciousness and then it's like time and matter, right? So what's your perspective on that? However, I believe you're doing amazing for lots of people that are starting the journey, and I feel selfish for always interrupting. Daryl, you really don't need to feel selfish. It drives a conversation, you know, it drives this discourse and live. So you don't need to feel selfish for that at all. When I say kind of questions, I'm essentially massaging my own ego, but I know that I have important questions and you generally have a live for such questions, so I could keep you occupied for the full stream. Okay, I want others to reach out, please. Maybe through the questions that you ask, others will. Maybe they'll. You know what that? I kind of what I'm getting. It's like controlling, right? You're trying to be like, oh, okay, I can't ask questions because you know, respectfully, you know, I'm just pointing like a observation, kind of controlling a little bit. Like, if you want to ask questions and your curiosity is coming out, you know, feel free to ask questions, because you wanting others to reach our place is controlling behavior a little bit, right? Does that make sense? Because who are we to say that they're not already there? Who are we to say that they won't get there with maybe with what you're saying? Maybe like you're trying to control the situation. I think you're so right in feeling like this control. Yeah, it is. It's, let it flow. I'm not averse to it. I don't have a problem with it. If there's a question that I don't want to answer, I won't answer, and I'll be completely honest with you. But you don't need to like limit yourself, because it's not like I'm only answering you and ignoring everybody else, right? I get around to everybody. So okay, Priya, one line for God Krishna. Radhe Radhe. Yes, I valued intelligence my whole life, and maybe I feel like maybe I feel like I have insights others won't understand. Maybe, is that what you're trying to say? Because, you know, I kind of have felt the same way also sometimes. I used to feel the same way. I had this thought always, or this belief, that people wouldn't understand what I'm saying. Maybe, yeah, they won't understand, or they're just not on that level. But I mean, I come on live here and I find people who are on my level, who are beyond my level. So I think it's just a thought that you have, a belief that you have that limits you, right? Or not even understand that. I can't explain. These are just beliefs that you have, Carol. They're just beliefs. They're not the truth. Because the truth is that which is permanent. And these thoughts are not permanent. They disappear. They can be changed, right? God is the only thing that is permanent and changeless. Okay. What are your views on Krishna's teachings to Arjun in Mahabharata? Karan, these are very specific. I have no idea. I don't know what he taught. If you want to teach me what was taught and you want to give me what your take on it is, I would love that. What is most important? Wait, I think you what is most important? Going inwards and being aware of yourself, the present moment, honoring your inner voice. That's what I would say. What is most important? Unconditional. Oh, okay. Love. I'm 16. Give me the best advice you have for people like myself. Okay, cool. I will. You know, it's funny. Someone asked me literally yesterday, like, what advice would you give to someone young? And what I always do, like, for example, what I do with my siblings, I teach them what what I've learned about life, as in the truth, that you create reality from within you. Your beliefs create borders. If you believe, whatever you believe will be true for you. So what are your beliefs? What is the kind of life that you want, and what are your beliefs on those things? Do they align? If they don't align, change them. If you want to know that you can be or do anything, if you want to be or do anything, what do you believe about that? Do you believe it's possible to be, do, or have anything? And if you don't, then change your belief. Just change it. That's it. And then everything changes. That's why these people who were successful, right? They believed in themselves, because believing in yourself is a superpower, because you are the creator of your life. So that's what I would say. Yeah, I feel like I've never been heard before. Oh, and I feel like you hear me. It's just really new for me. I've always been told that I'm either dramatic or my head is in the clouds. The only reason I've been saved from insanity is because so many of my predictions from 2010, 2012 came true. That is really interesting, that you say that. You know, I get that. I get why you would feel like that, Daryl, because you didn't have, I get, like you said, you feel like you've never been heard before. And to the average, like to people who aren't like spiritually awakened, I guess, you know. These are labels, but this helps me communicate to you what I'm trying to say a little bit, right? People who aren't spiritually awakened, right? Their consciousness hasn't looked inwards. They are lost in the fact that they think they are their thoughts, their emotions, their, you know, their body, whatever. They don't know that anything exists beyond that. Well, they will think that you're crazy. They will think that you are delusional. But people who have reached that level, they won't think that. And I was lucky because I had people, like I had my twin sister to share that with. So I'm really glad that you have this space to share that with, and myself, of course. What's your opinion about natal chart and horoscope? I found out from my own experience that there's some truth in it, and in the sense that the stars reflect who we are. Oh, ego! Love that question. Thank you so much. You know, me too. I believe that too. I when I read it, I'm like, whoa. Not only that, but human design really made sense for me. You know, it really put things into perspective for me. But yeah, I completely believe the natal chart and horoscope thing. You don't have to be limited by it, because at the end of the day, you can just, you know, you have free will. You're a god. If you want to say it's not true for me, it won't be true for you, right? But I see the same in it. I see relevance. It makes sense to me. It helps me understand myself more. And the stars do reflect who you are, because everything affects us. Everything, we are so far away from nature that we question things like astrology and your natal chart. But we are, like, for example, women, they're aligned with the cycle of the moon, right? But they don't know that. Like, their periods, it's a 28-day cycle. The moon, it's a 28-day cycle. Men are aligned with the sun, a 24-hour cycle. We are just so we are so out of alignment with nature that we don't understand how connected we are to it. So yeah, I love it. Girl, you're the only outlet for all these thoughts, so I apologize and repent in the same breath. Please, why? You don't have to, Daryl, you do not have to be apologetic for anything at all. I am glad that you get to just free yourself of this, you know, like your thoughts, like they're coming out, you get to see them, you know, and I'm glad that this is a safe space for you to, like, express those. You've helped my mental stability a lot. It's just you. I'm just you helping you, you know? I hate the world, but I've been gaslit my whole life. Okay, Daryl. I'm gonna keep it real with you. It sounds like a victim mindset that you have right now. Oh wait, I hate the word. Oh sorry, I thought you said I hate the word. But I've been gaslit my whole life. Okay, you've been gaslit your whole life. Okay, sorry, yeah, I take that back. I get that. Yeah, I get that. You know, what comes up for me there is, if this was me, like if I said those words, I hate the word, you know, I've been gaslit my whole life, I would be like, that's just a thought. And I don't want to invalidate your experiences, but I don't want to solidify them either. Because what you do is, when you label something, it solidifies. It's like, okay, this is this now. It can't be limitless, right? And God is limitless, right? Our true nature is limitless. So this character feels like that. But it doesn't have to be, it's not the truth, because the truth is that which is permanent. And this, my friend, is not permanent. This idea that you have about your whole life can change with the gift of hindsight, right? Like, further down in the future, you may think, oh no, actually, you know what, that wasn't the case. Or lest we label things. I don't know, Priya, sometimes in life, one person gets into your blood like venom, you can't really get rid of it. There are theories in professionals. But also, darkness is permanent, light is temporary. What? Really? Darkness? Oh yeah, I mean, the darkness is nothing to be afraid of though, right? We all come from the darkness. From the cosmic womb. That is black and dark, right? Just vast, like a black hole. Welcome, Vinay. You know, when someone is doing wrong with me, then I cannot take revenge physically. That's why I sleep, and after I sleep, my soul comes out and takes revenge. Interesting. Because when Shiva and Shakti separates, then Shakti becomes destruction. Waheguru. Yeah, Shakti is destruction. You don't have to do anything, you know? I have a mother who's a clinical narcissist. Okay, you're a psychopath? I'm trying to navigate life without being a danger to those around me. Okay, so did you self-diagnose yourself as a psych? Like, what makes you say that you're like, did you say, yeah, like, how did you get to the conclusion that you're a psychopath? And when I sleep, I become Shiv. Shiv means Shav. Shav means body, and Shakti means soul. When body and soul separates. Okay, wait. When I sleep, I become Shiv. Shiv means Shav. Shav means body. So when the body and soul separates, the soul becomes destruction. Wow. Wow. Yeah, Vinay, honestly, I heard that taking revenge is victimhood. You're coming from a victimhood kind of perspective on life, you know? What do you think? What do you think of that? And what kind of things are they doing that you need to take revenge? Even I don't know who's creating problems. That's why soul takes revenge, because soul doesn't want body to take revenge. That's wild. I've never heard of this before. Is it revenge or is it just like karma? You know? Wild. Very interesting conversations today, I must say. I'm wrecked in the head, trust me. That's just a thought. That's just a thought. I have 100, which is the only reason I sound coherent. Okay. Hmm. Hmm. I don't know what to say. But silence is me saying something, you know? I have done masters in mass communication, but still my communication skills are so bad. Corinne, that is not the truth. That is just a thought. If my enemy is far, long way from me, still my soul. Oh my god, Vinay. Jesus Christ, let me remind me to never cross you. Okay, I believe time is a part of space-time. Okay, but does something beyond space-time exist? Is what I want to ask you. Deceptive in what way, Daryl? Daryl, you do not have to show me. You don't have to show me or anybody, even as a non-feeling. I don't know about that. I don't know about that because I felt love from you. I felt appreciation. So I don't really know much about psychopaths, I guess. So I don't know. Good night, Karen. And everybody has worth regardless of who they are, you know? See, the fact that you're gonna cry, I mean, you're definitely not a psychopath. Come on now, Daryl. Like, who put this title on you? Who made you feel like you're a psychopath? Uh, unless you were lying, you know, unless you're being, I guess, I don't know. Uh, at what point does being realistic protect you? At what point does it quite limit you? Wow. Deep, deep words. What is being realistic anyway? It's just what you, I guess it's just a limitation, right? That you have placed. You're like, oh, okay, this, up to here, that's realistic. Anything beyond that, impossible. Okay, okay. Well, I'm gonna have to go now. I have to cook dinner today. Well, I get to cook dinner today. Um, but it's been a pleasure, as always. Thank you for everybody that joined. Thank you for all of your participation. Yeah. Pretty thing. No worries, no worries. God bless you all. Bye-bye. Yeah, thank you, Igor. Much love to you all. Thank you for that, Igor. We're all here to support you, Daryl. We got you. Okay. Bye-bye.